Top of the hour, 9:03 to be exact on this Motivated Monday. And in the studios with me, got the political party, political party for progress in the studios. And I have candidate Mr. Marvio Cooks. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Elektra. How you doing?
And also candidate Mr. Luciano Nicholls.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
All right. So we're going to start off with Marvio. You can introduce yourself to the people, perhaps, or the listeners that are not familiar with you, and tell us what will you be championing for this upcoming snap elections 2020.
Well, hi. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, St. Martin, and everybody listening via internet and or radio. My name is Marvio Cooks. I am candidate number 5 on Party for Progress, and I'll be championing what Party for Progress is championing, a true improvement on quality of life for all on St. Martin. For too long, only some people eat when some people in, and what we're talking about is making sure that everybody eats no matter who's in. Continuation is that.
Some people eat while... Say that again.
For too long, only some people eat when some people in.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Government's supposed to make sure everybody eat, no matter who in. And that's what Party for Progress is here to do, to make sure that improvement of quality for life is not just for some people, but for all.
Okay, great. And what about you, Luciano?
Well, my name is Luciano Nicholls. Most people probably don't know me. But I was born right here in St. Martin. And I went to school here, came back. And I am also championing the same thing that Party for Progress is championing. That's one thing that you're going to find across the board when it comes to Party for Progress. All of us share the same ideals, same goals. So for sure, for me, I am more geared towards education.
Yes.
And that's really where I want to see us put our time and energy into, tourism. And I understand that that's the lifeblood of St. Martin.
Yes.
But at the same time, we cannot afford to simply look at tourism and then leave our own people behind. And that's one of the areas that I really would like to champion.
Okay, so you are championing for education in this whole system. And are you part of an education system? Are you familiar with the education system?
I teach.
Okay, you're a teacher.
Yes, I do. At the University of St. Martin.
So you're like a professor?
No.
Kinda?
I teach, let's say, high school level science and mathematics.
Okay. GED program?
GED program. That's what I do.
Okay.
But my mother's also been an educator for 30-something years.
Okay, so it's in your blood.
I have been around this.
Yes.
I've always been working with education and stuff like that. And then, me being a teacher, I have noticed the areas that we have a lot of problems in is that a lot of our students, a lot of our kids, they struggle with simple reading, simple comprehension. Now, comprehension is a big problem. You can read a sentence.
Yes.
You can read the words in that sentence. But can you comprehend its contents? And that's where we have a big problem with that is concerned. And then it is arithmetic.
Yes.
Mathematics. A lot of people don't understand why we need math. And when I started my semester this year, a lot of my students were like, teacher, I really like this. I'm going to try, but me like this.
Yes.
But we come into mathematics with a certain misconception, certain perceptions that may block us from really excelling in that area. And we believe in PFP that the areas of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, these are the areas that we need to start pushing our kids into, especially the young ones.
Yes.
Because let's be honest, these areas are going to help us, our children, find the jobs of the future. We can't think about now for now. We have to think about 10, 20, 30 years into the future when our kids become our age. And they would have to look for jobs, and those jobs that we have right now may be obsolete at that time. So we must prepare our children now.
Okay, so I guess there's where the vision from PFP comes in.
Yes.
Well, we'll talk to Marvio. Now, of course, we are in a political upheaval in the last couple of years. And, there's all kinds of new parties have been jumped up. And you're one of the newest parties. And, of course, people might say, not a new party again. Why should people vote for you as a candidate or even support PFP? What makes PFP different to the existing parties and politicians that we have already?
All right, so I'll answer that part of the question and go forward. There are many new parties that have come up and disappeared. Party for Progress is the one party who came up before elections, not during an election. We were planning on doing everything before an election came out, so that means we were here for the long haul. We don't have a youth wing just for elections. We are the youth that's going to take the rest and make sure that the rest of the year we are there and you see us in your communities helping and making sure we understand what's happening. What makes Party for Progress different is that we're not a ragtag group. We vetted everybody. We made sure that everybody on our party, when it comes to being a candidate, understood what our 3 words are: vision, strategy, action. If we interviewed you and the first thing you said was, "What's in it for me?" interview over.
Okay. So you really vetted your candidates and you wanted quality versus quantity.
At all times.
Okay.
And that's something that's in Martin missing, is that, it's sad to see because there's a distaste in politics in St. Martin. And it's not because of the people. It's because of the persons that we put there to represent us. They have made this distaste. And the thing is that Party for Progress is that palate cleanser. I understand that everybody is frustrated. But at this point, your frustrations are because you've been reading the same pages over and over again. The new chapter starts with PFP. And that's what we're here for, is to give you that new chapter. Look at us. Listen to us. Come to our town hall meetings. Some parties only now starting town hall meetings. But we've been doing town hall meetings because we understand that speaking with people and getting information from people about what's going on in their community makes a bigger difference and a bigger impact than giving free Johnny cakes and liquor for everybody. We are not here to yell at people. We're here to listen to you, hear what you're saying, and we understand that the distaste that's there for you is also being passed on to our younger voters. And we need to make sure that our future is secured. And the only way to safeguard that is to make sure that our younger voters understand that election isn't for $200 here and a fridge there. It's here to make sure that the policies that are in place today, that can be placed today, are there to help you tomorrow and your future children and you as a senior citizen, if God help you get there. So that's what Party for Progress is about. We're here for longevity, lifelong learning, and making sure that your quality of life through education is done the right way.
Now, education, of course, is a very, very important element in the development of any country. You as an educator yourself, how do you see education developing in the near future, as Mr. Nicholls pointed out?
Yeah. One thing that I like to say a lot is that we have to create the global citizens of tomorrow today. That means that we have to be able to make sure that our young educated professionals that are coming out of our education system are not just prepared for jobs of yesterday or today. They have to be able to adapt to what's coming tomorrow. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we actually reassess the way our foundation-based education is, FBE. We need to make sure. You see, a lot of people don't like to hear the word assessment because to them it means that there is no action happening. But actually the assessment needs to be done, because that's the only way you can actually determine what kind of action is needed in order to move forward. And that's one of the things that PFP is pushing, is that we need to reassess the way FBE is being done and speak to the stakeholders, not just the students, but also the teachers, and make sure and see if it's actually working. And if it's not working, what can we tweak to make sure that it works? And that's one of the things. See, I work in Division Public Education. I work with the public schools. And part of my job is to help teachers enhance their classroom with technology.
Yes.
And the issue is a lot of people, technology here, this and that. The thing is that just like we have leaders in politics that don't know how to use the tools correctly, we also aren't using the tool of technology correctly. And that's what part of my job is to make sure that the methodology used is used in a creative way. You can use technology in gym to monitor heart rates and breathing rates to make sure that your students are safe while they're running. Just because one student is running faster than the other doesn't mean the other's body isn't working just as hard, if not harder.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about, is being able to actually use the tools that we have correctly so that we can secure our future later.
Well, okay, two of you, Marvio and Luciano, are education professionals in the community of St. Martin. Now, as you just pointed out, the politicians have brought that distaste in the community of St. Martin. That's your view as a new political party. Now, you would come knock on somebody's door and say, "Hey, we are the new kids on the block, and we want your vote." I mean, why should I give you my vote? Because everything over the last 10 years have been, okay, I give you my vote, and then you disappoint me, and I feel like again, and here comes a new party and stuff like that. What would you tell me if you're in my living room and vote for me?
So first of all, I would like St. Martin to look at who they've been voting for before.
Okay.
Truly look at them. Have they honestly been the most qualified individuals for that position? Mm-hmm. And have they always had St. Martin's best interests at heart?
Okay.
I believe that we must have a narrative. You see, when we as politicians make decisions in government, you should always ask yourself, is this in the best interest of St. Martin? So look at them. And then look at us. Look at what we've been doing. I mean, we've just started. But then look at what the list we have put together. Look at the individuals on the list. Look at our biographies. And then you'll notice a fundamental difference between us and all the other parties. We have tried our best to pick people that fill various roles needed in government. Mm-hmm. Okay? Another thing I will tell them is this. For 9 years, you have done the same thing. Let's look at an experiment. I'm a scientist. Okay? I have a degree in physics. So I love science. If you mix water and salt, you'll get salt water. Right?
Yes.
What if you mix it again? What do you think you'll get?
Salty
What if you
water?
mix it 9 times?
More salt water.
It doesn't change.
Yeah.
So if we keep doing the same thing over and over, how will that change? You have chosen the rest for 9 times. Mm-hmm. They have done nothing for you. What do you have to lose choosing something fundamentally different today?
Yeah, but yes, you're absolutely right. But people might say, we know what we have, but we don't know what we're gonna get. You have people that will think that way and just feel like, no, I'm not voting. What if somebody says to you, no, I'm not voting, I'm done? How would you convince them as a new political party to vote?
Well, you see, the thing is that for persons like that, you have to first understand their frustration.
Okay.
And then you have to be able to let them understand that they have a responsibility. And their responsibility isn't only for themselves. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I went canvassing with our number 4 candidate, and we spoke to some young voters. A couple of them that never voted before. And it was actually very disturbing to hear that these new voters, 18-year-olds, fresh, first thing you say, well, I want to vote for the first party that give me my money.
Wow.
Or I want to vote for the popular politician because I want to feel like I in something.
They wanted to feel inclusive.
Inclusive.
Okay.
The thing is that when somebody says they don't, after all of that, other persons have voted that way, and then they get to that same point of not wanting to vote. So what I tell them is this. Look, we always tell our youth, do your homework. Mm-hmm. Be well informed. And that's what PFP is talking about. We need to inform the people. We need to be able to put ourselves, it's sad to say that they say you got to sell yourself. Mm-hmm. At this point, what we have to do is be that brochure, that information that comes to a person and says, hey, this is what Party for Progress is actually standing for. We have been working in government. We have been trying to do the things that need to be done in order to curtail the frustration that's coming towards you in different areas, from education to all the way to justice. And now we're stepping up to the plate as our responsibility. We feel the responsibility to come out and be your representative. And that's what we tell them, is take the responsibility and understand that your frustration can only be changed by letting your voice be heard. And your voice being heard in a different direction not only helps your future, but it also helps hold those that have let you down. It holds them accountable. Mm-hmm. And that accountability comes through your vote. Sitting on the side is what they want, because no vote means it's not going against them.
Right.
So put it towards a new party, put it towards candidates that are young, innovative, understand the plight of the people on St. Martin, and want to actually do something different, because none of us are living behind gates.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I mean, we are current situation. You are, of course, vying for a parliamentary position, which is, speaking on behalf of the entire population of St. Martin. With the current situation on hand, with the French side going through its turmoil and the protests and the violence that is going on, unfortunately, what is your take on that? If you're going to be a politician, a parliamentarian, as I see, they're going to have meetings on what's going to be happening. What would your ideas be about that?
When you say my take on it, my take on what's happening, or what? Yeah,
your take on what's happening. Okay. I know it's a very complex issue.
Yes, it is. Yes,
it's a complex issue, but you are vying. I'm interviewing you for the job, which is the parliament. So we got to ask these tough questions.
Yes. Right now, I must say that the situation on the French side has escalated to a point where people don't even know what's happening anymore. And this is why it's important to have one set group of spokespersons or a spokesperson in general to make sure that you can guide the message going through. Because when it comes to protesting is part of letting your voice be heard.
Yes.
We have that right to do so.
Correct.
The thing is that when you're protesting with a goal in mind, with a message, so that people can be able to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to go back to the table and renegotiate what's going on.
Right.
What's happening on the French side right now is that people's frustrations have reached to a certain level where they no longer can be contained. And then also the message is being lost because there are people hijacking the protest and using it for their own way of venting their frustrations through destruction. And as a parliamentarian, what I would say is that we definitely need to be able to sit down with our brothers and sisters on the north, and actually sit down and hear, hey, what is going on and how is it that we can assist if we can? Because this is what can happen. Yesterday, speaking to some guys on the block, and they say, you know what? We feel like we need to do the same thing over here like our French side brothers are doing. And then my one response to it was, to what end? Because you see, it doesn't help us to just start violently destroying things, because that's not the way to be heard. The way to be heard is through real dialogue, bringing up true issues and sitting down with the persons who can make a difference and see if they can come to a real agreement on what to do. So to our brothers and sisters on the French side, I wish them the best. I really hope that the message it comes back to what it was originally for.
Yes.
And as a parliamentarian and our leaders that are there right now, I know that our current Prime Minister and also our Minister of Justice have been in talks with the French side, and they're doing their own negotiations on their own. And I feel that those kinds of conversations are things that should be also, if possible, when possible, let out to the public so that people can actually see our leaders speaking to each other and working with each other. Because for too long, especially since Irma, we have been treating or thinking like the French side are kind of like our enemies, especially with everything going on with the border and how the blockage of the border happened. Even this time, there was some fake news going around telling people that our police was stopping people from going to the French side, and the French collectivité didn't want people coming through. And it wasn't true. It was just that the roads were blocked and they were doing it for the safety of the people. So you couldn't go through with vehicles. The next day you saw how the road was full up with the rocks from the slave wall. Of course, they couldn't let people to go through there with your vehicles.
Right.
So again, that's why it's important to make sure that as a parliamentarian, as a leader, that we actually sit down, be transparent, and make sure that the message is what's actually being given to the people and not just the violence, because the violence is the hype, and that's where your message is lost.
Well, Luciano, as you said, you are a teacher in in science, and also teaching at the University of St. Martin. Starting on this political trajectory for the first time in your life, do you think you are standing up for what you believe in by joining Party for Progress? Have you ever considered, going with somebody else? Were you approached? How did that go for you as an aspiring new young politician?
I was approached.
Okay.
By one of the other bigger parties. And I do come from let's say a political family.
Okay.
Because my uncle was a parliamentarian at one point in time. But this decision I had to make for myself. I made this decision before I was even able to talk to my uncle and the rest of them about it, because I believed in, I went to the launch for PFP, and then I believed in their message. When I was able to sit down and speak to them, they spoke to me. So what they stood for, I stood for. And that was what was most important to me. I didn't care about the big parties, because nothing what they said really resonated with me. But almost everything, and when you look at our manifesto, it was written in-house. And when you read through it, and when I read through it, I was like, hey, that's my part. That's this, So I can see that I am bringing a lot to the party as well. And that's why I decided, hey, this is the way to go. This is how I can make my stand.
There's been a lot of, in the last 10 years since we became a country within the kingdom, there's been a lot of talk about electoral reform. This question is for any one of you. What do you think about that? Do you think that our election process should be changed? And if so, how would you like it to change?
What do you mean by electoral reform? Are we on the subject of ship jumping and stuff like that?
Whatever, yes. Just electoral reform, ship jumping.
That's generally where it goes, Ship jumping has been used poorly in the past. But I am here to tell St. Martin this, that ship jumping is and let's not say ship jumping, just simply being able to move the way your conscience tell you to move. That's basically what it is there for. There should be no strong arming in Parliament. I shouldn't have to pull you to vote away, even though that goes against your conscience.
But if it's against, you're together with a faction, and it's party lines,
yes,
and
factions,
stuff like
there
that.
Are party lines, but actually those don't exist in Parliament.
No. But I'm just.
That's what they don't exist in Parliament.
Right.
Every parliamentarian has a right to themselves. You have an oath. You make an oath, and you have that right to yourself to vote according to your conscience. Now, if your party decides, let's say, we use this example that let's say they want to bring down the age of consent to 12 years old. Am I supposed to simply sit down there and allow them to do that? No. But the problem we have in St. Martin is that we abuse this. We do it for our personal reasons, and that should never be.
Okay, Marvio?
Yeah, my take on it is that if you have a toolbox and you have a hammer, you can use that hammer to build something, or you can use it to break something. And the thing is that for too long we've had leaders that have been using the tools incorrectly. Again, I always say that if the people who we put as our representatives actually cared about the people, they would be able to empathize with us and think twice before using any of the tools incorrectly. That means that, for example, like Luciano mentioned, if there's something going on in the party as government, and I decide, hey, this is something that shouldn't be done, then as a party, as parliamentarians, we should be able to sit down and renegotiate this. And me, as a representative of the people, should be able to say, okay, look, what are the consequences if I decide that I am now no longer going to support this coalition? And I always say it, if I'm thinking about the hunger of the people, the way that our people are hurting when it comes to employment, when it comes to health, and then to throw us into a circus like this again, I would think twice and find a better, stronger way to negotiate with other parliamentarians, the other representatives, for them to understand that, hey, we need to go in a different direction. And that's what PFP really believes when it comes to electoral reform, is that, first of all, the first step of electoral reform is to change who is in there. Put more politically mature people in there that understand that the tools that are there don't necessarily always have to be changed in order for them to work. You have to change the mindsets in there. And then two, put politically mature people that will let you know, hey, this is what's going on and this is why I am considering this. But in the meantime, we are negotiating for better outcomes. So that's what PFP believes, is that we need to have persons in there that are better at using the tools. Okay,
I'm interviewing you, of course, giving you the platform to talk about your political party and your vision and your strategy. And of course, the position that you're being interviewed for is Parliament. Okay, now this is a very important question. as you are selected as a parliamentarian. There are difficult tasks at hand. Decisions need to be made and people need to vote. Yes. Would you walk out on the people of St. Martin when you would have to vote for something that's really important? You know, just walk out of your job just like that. Would you do that as a new parliamentarian?
No.
Okay.
Do I have to motivate my answer?
Of course. Of course.
I say no because of what I just recently said. As a representative of the people, I understand why they put me there. We have a large task ahead of us. There's many things that need to be done. There's many things that need to be assessed before they can be done, before decisions can be placed. Walking out on the job is me giving up on the people. I can't do that. And I also have to be, as a representative, I have to be that example. If young voters or if the youth or any professional sees me do that, what's to them to do the same at their job? You know, I can't be a representative of the people and not represent with responsibility and class. And there is no class in walking out on the people of St. Martin.
Luciano?
I share his sentiments.
Okay.
This has happened a few times before, and it does show political immaturity.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. We have been put there to do a job. This is our job. Our job is the people. And if we walk out on them, if we walk out on the people, then what are we doing? Why are we there? What is our purpose? There is none. So let's get it together, St. Martin. Let's do our jobs.
Okay, got a couple of more seconds. Last words for you, Luciano. Why should people vote for Luciano Nicholls of the Party for Progress?
Well, yes, I am Luciano Nicholls. I am candidate number 8. Number 8 will educate. That is the reason why. That is one of the reasons why you should vote for Luciano or anybody else on the Party for Progress. We are young. We are able. You know, I tell people that, you know, my skin is thick and my shoulders are broad. So we are able to take the strain. I know, and I don't want to point any fingers, but you know, the older parliamentarians, I believe they did what they could, whatever that was, because some of us can't really see it, but they did what they could, and it is now time for us to build our future. This future is my own, and we should be allowed to build this future not just for us, but for everybody coming behind us. So, vote for us, vote for PFP. Vote for a change.
Okay, thank you, Luciano Nicholls, candidate number 8 on the Party for Progress, and Marvio Cooks.
Yeah, hi. My name is Marvio Cooks. I'm candidate number 5 on the Party for Progress, PFP. Why you should vote for PFP is because it's about time that we stop letting the rats mind the cheese. We have to make sure that we put people in there that understand what the responsibility of the people is. When you have people that are coming in and they don't actually represent you in a way that you want them to, it is your right to use your vote to change the direction of the country. And that's what you are, our voters. You are the ones, the captains at the helm, that are changing the direction that the country can go. And Party for Progress is bringing you not only young faces, but young ideas and new energy that's not only for the youth, but for everybody. Because we understand that the plight of the people is no game. And politics is not what we're playing. We're here, serious work, serious business. Come January 9th, vote for PFP. Put it on any one of our candidates because we will represent you and your future. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Party for Progress. Of course, candidates Marvio Cooks, number 5, and Luciano Nicholls, number 8. Good luck with the upcoming parliamentary elections, candidates, and continue to do your best.
Thank you.
Thank you.